You know, the business of developing medical treatments is complex. Patients have to be involved. Physicians and drug development experts of every stripe need to be involved. It takes a lot of money and it takes a long time. There are complex regulatory policies that are there to ensure the efficacy and the safety of what is developed, but at the same time impose a process that requires meticulous planning and execution to get to. So when you take all that into account with the need to attack such a large bundle of diseases to make a real impact more efficiently and effectively, you have to start breaking down the problem to pieces that you can manage to. So I think a more directed answer would be that let's start where the basic science comes from. Universities, here in the United States, but also around the world. And it's that science at universities and the patents and intellectual property that begin to provide the basis for building a product that can be brought into a marketplace. After all, at least as long as we have capitalistic systems around the world funding this kind of development, we need to attract investment capital, and investment capital therefore needs to have a proprietary position on a product. So we need to begin with transferring that basic science and the intellectual property associated with it into a next step where the resources need to be made available that can develop it into a product and a treatment for patients. So we have many, many discoveries published every day that could be the starting point of treatment development, but we lack the resources and structure to advance those discoveries. That's one. The second is we have to convert an industry that has its own business model and attracts investment capital from shareholders and private investors to understand that they need to adapt to investing in more projects that can treat smaller patient populations than they were built to do. So we need to find a system that can help de-risk the science and build it to a point where it's adequately validated, technically, scientifically, that it has the merit to be invested in to go into the clinic, and the lengthy and expensive process of proving it in terms of safety and efficacy, as I mentioned, so that we can get regulatory approval to bring the product and the treatment to the patient. Those are the kinds of factors that create a gap between academia and industry, sometimes called the valley of death. It's not a new problem. It's been with us for a long time. In the case of rare disease, though, it's really exacerbated. It really is a valley of death because patients are suffering, patients are dying, their caregivers and families with them are suffering because we're not finding an efficient pathway to move things forward. So I think the core issue to be addressed has to be at the beginning of the process, because if we don't solve that, there will never be enough treatment candidates that the industrial companies can take on and actually bring to the marketplace. We have to break that dam open. We have to break through that wall. And if we do that, then I can be optimistic to say that there's enough good, robust science that we could be developing treatments for many diseases that today simply are lacking the support to be moved forward to become a treatment.